Hi there, this is Adam Davidson, owner of Dental Digital. In this video, I'd like to share with you the best possible marketing strategy that you could put together for your practice. If you are in a position where you want to grow your dental practice, you're in a position where you can expand your patient base, this strategy here in the background will not only bring you in lots of new leads and lots of new interest and inquiries for your treatments, it will also make sure that you get lots of bookings, consultations, and quality inquiries. Okay, so this system here in the background is what I've put together for a lot of different dentists that I work with, and the most successful dentists use similar, if not this system that I'm about to show you. Okay, now this system here is from the Facebook ad campaign itself all the way through to the consultation. So this will show you how to get leads, how to get lots of interest on the front end if you're looking for more interest on certain treatments, and it will also show you how to nurture that lead to turn them into a high quality lead, or how to sift out low quality leads. So by the end of it, you've got high quality leads and consultations coming through. And this is something you can have for every single treatment that just churns out new patients every single month. So let me start at the beginning. So on the left-hand side here, I've kind of mapped this out to show the whole strategy. And, I'll try to make this as clear and as simple as possible. Now, the first step is to come up with an offer as to what it is you want to do. So you need to identify what treatment do you want more of. Is it Invisalign? Is it clear aligners? Is it implants? Is it bonding? Maybe it's a whole load of treatments, but you still need to section individually what treatments you want to promote, because you don't promote treatments all under the same campaign. You want to make sure all your campaigns are separate. Okay. Now, the second thing you want to do is you want to look at what your competitors are doing, and you want to stand out, whether that's on pricing, whether that's on the package offer. So let's say, for example, let's take Invisalign. If your competitors have really high pricing, you could potentially beat them on pricing. That's an offer, okay? That's going to get attention. If you can't really beat other competitors on pricing, maybe you can add in extras with treatment, whitening, bonding at the end of treatment, maybe free retainers. All of this stuff, you need to look at what your competitors are doing and come up with a unique offer. And you need to put yourself in someone's shoes who haven't heard of you before. So what you're doing here is you're going to be advertising your treatments on Facebook and Instagram. And when you advertise on Facebook and Instagram, you often reach people who don't know who you are. So you must put yourself in their shoes and understand that there's no trust yet built with you when a new person sees your practice. So you need to give some value up front, and that comes in some form of offer. Now, if you're just more credible than other dentists, let's say you've got more experience, you've done more Invisalign cases, for example. This can be for any treatment, by the way. I'm just using Invisalign as an example. Let's say you've just got more experience, then you can push on that as well. That will make your campaign stand out. But in the beginning, you need to make sure that your campaign stands out in some way and your offer stands out in some way. Okay. Now, once you've identified what treatment you want to promote and what it is you're going to be promoting, what the offer is, or what is the approach that's going to make you stand out, you're then going to use Facebook and Instagram ads to promote that offer or that treatment. Okay. Now, the reason why you do Facebook and Instagram ads is because everyone uses Facebook and Instagram. All your potential new patients in the future, 9 times out of 10, they have Facebook and Instagram. So there's no better place to advertise other than Facebook and Instagram, because this is where everyone is. Okay. So when you advertise on Facebook and Instagram, this is where you're going to actually create your advertisement. This is what's going to show up on people's news feeds. So at this point, you need to make the ad super attractive. I have other videos on my channel that talk about how to create a really nice looking ad to make sure that it stands out on the news feed. And if you have a good enough offer on the front end, the ad will, it will stand out by itself, right? But if you look at my other videos, I do have an actual breakdown on how to create good advertisements, how to create good content and good copy, good ad copy. Okay, but that's the second part here. You want to be running a Facebook and Instagram advertisement. That's what's going to get you the attention. Now, let's say someone sees your Facebook and Instagram advertisement. Now, you need to capture their information. So what you want to do is you want to send them to either 3 different types of strategies. Number 1 is you want to send them to what's called a Facebook or Instagram lead form. I didn't actually put Instagram in here, but this is for Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so a Facebook and Instagram lead form is where someone clicks on the ad and a pop-up form comes up on their screen, and then they can just fill in their name, number, and information, and any questions you want to ask them. Now, once they've done that, they then become official inquiry, and then you will receive that person's information. But I'll get to that point. Now, that's one way you can do it. It's a very effective way of getting lots of leads. Another way is you can create an offer landing page. So let's say you do have a specific offer. Let's say you're willing to do £500 or dollars off Invisalign, okay, for a limited time only. Well, rather than sending people to your website, you could create a sales landing page just for that offer. And that will convert a lot higher for you than your website or any other method. And it will also bring a higher quality of person as well. So a landing page is something that you could look into getting in terms of actually getting hold of people or getting people's information. Okay, so these are the places that people will go to once they've clicked on the ad. So an offer landing page is a really good way to get people's information. Another way you can do it is by using a type form or a questionnaire of some sort. So there are softwares out there that let you create very sort of simple and fluid questionnaires, Typeform being one of them. And they're really good for qualifying people that extra mile. So let's say if you're promoting implants and you want to know more about a person before they become a lead, well, you can create a type form that will ask them a series of questions and they can answer these questions. And once they've submitted the form, only then do they become an inquiry. And you on your side can see whether they're a quality person or not. But there's 3 different ways you really want to focus on: Facebook lead forms, offer landing page, or type form. Now, all of these 3 I test out against each other because they all work as well as each other in different accounts. Okay. Now, let's say the person goes through a Facebook lead form. It doesn't matter whether it's a landing page or a type form, but let's say they go to, the form submission stage of the funnel. And let's say they do not put their information in. So they hit your page, they go onto the Facebook lead form, they hit the landing page, they hit the type form, but they don't submit the form. Okay, they just visited it. Well, then what you want to do is you want to cut off all loose ends. And what I'm sharing with you here is what the most effective marketing strategy systems are. And this is what the most highest performing campaigns are doing and practices are doing. So anyone who does not submit the form, you then want to retarget them with a Facebook or Instagram advertisement. So have you ever gone online before and you've kind of looked for trainers, let's say, or you've gone and looked for clothes, for example? All of a sudden, as soon as you click on one website, all of a sudden their ads are everywhere. They're all over your Facebook, they're on your Instagram. That's because you're being retargeted. And that's actually very effective because it can kind of play in your mind. It can create brand awareness subtly. And before you know it, you're clicking back on the ad and you're buying the item. It's not. It's exactly the same thing here. So if someone clicked on your ad, they're obviously showcasing some level of interest. So it's important to retarget those people. Now, it's not your main strategy. It's just kind of a background campaign that can retarget people who are engaging with your ads, but not actually submitting. Okay, so that goes down to here. As you can see here, Facebook and Instagram retargeting campaign, which then goes back to the start, back to the campaign offer. Okay. Now, if they do submit the form, as you can see here, submit form yes, they then go to the next stage, which is, first of all, they will be sent to your team's CRM. Okay, so you need to receive that person's information, of course. Now, internally, you will work out what the best way is to get the person's information. Maybe your team use email and you just want the leads coming through to the email. Okay, maybe you use a certain system to manage leads and you can link leads to go into there, but you need to identify where do you want leads going to. Okay, now once you've identified that, you can set an automation up so everyone who fills in the form goes to this place. Okay, as you can see here, this is this section here. Now let's say you receive the lead. Okay, your team has received the lead either to their email or to the system they're using, whatever it may be. Then it's your team's job, your manager's job, your TCO's job, whatever, again, whoever it may be, it's their job to then contact the patient. Now, I have a training, it's on my YouTube channel. It's a 10-minute video on how to follow up with patients. And this video that I made is based off the most successful clients that I've worked with in the dentistry space, ones who are getting a very, very high end or high conversion rate. Now, you can't just get leads from social media and just do your normal process and expect to get high bookings. You need to approach them a little bit different because the nature of the lead is different from someone who's come through your website or a referral. So if you want to, you can go to my YouTube. There is a 10-minute training video on the best things to do step by step as soon as you've captured a lead to get the maximum chance of actually booking them in. Okay, and that's super important. But let's say your team follow all that, they follow the system to the T. So again, it's your team's job to contact the person as soon as they get the lead through. Now, if they do not answer or go down the don't answer route first, if they then don't answer, there then is a follow-up process that your team will follow. And again, this is on this video that I've created. A lot of your appointments and your bookings will come in the follow-up process because a lot of people will not answer the first time. Maybe they're busy, maybe they filled in the form a little bit earlier. There's loads of reasons. Most people will not answer the first time. So the manual follow-up process is super important, and you need to have a good system down. And again, I've talked about this in my video on how to follow up with inquiries from social media. Now, your team will follow this follow-up process, this manual follow-up process, which includes calls, it includes text messages, WhatsApp business messages. There's a whole system on how to do it, again, shown on the video, that your team will follow for 7 to 10 days. Okay. Now, let's say most people, by the way, at this point would have answered. Okay. But there will still be a small selection of people who haven't answered, no matter how many times you call them, no matter how many times you text them. Okay. A small percentage. So let's say the people who do not get back to you within the 7 to 10 days of following up with them, they will then go on to an email drip campaign that I've created. But again, this is just a formula in general, an email drip campaign. Okay, an email drip campaign is basically an automated email that goes out to the person every couple of weeks, every month, just to keep that person warm. And you can see here, this is this box here, email drip campaign /weekly call /text, meaning that your team can call them once a week, once every 2 weeks, just to sort of try them here and there. I've had it before where dentists, they leave a lead for literally 2 or 3 months. They try them again, and then all of a sudden they get them booked in. So you don't want to forget about people. You just want to put them on the back burner on some sort of email drip /text drip campaign. Okay, and all of this stuff I have in place as part of my manual automation that I put in place for clients. Okay, but the email drip campaign is an important part of the process, but this is only once they've got to the point where you've done all your manual follow-up and no one's getting back to you. Okay, so as you can see here, the arrow then goes back down to this part, which is actually the automation process, which I'll come to in a moment. Now, let's go back to the top here. So back to where they contact the patient. So once your team member has contacted the patient, let's say the person answers the first time. Okay, that's the ideal situation. Then it's like, okay, did the person book? If yes, that's great. Then the funnel ends there. Okay, you can then deal with them in your own systems. You can follow up with them with your own stuff, and you've got them booked in. That's great. If they don't book, you then want to get feedback as to why they didn't book. Okay, so if they didn't book, it could be a whole bunch of reasons. It could be your team. Maybe your team wasn't good enough at selling them on the consultation. Maybe they didn't quite understand, what they was talking about. Maybe the person on the phone had the wrong idea of what the campaign was saying. Maybe they're asking questions about price and they didn't know how expensive it was. So there's a whole load of feedback that you can get from people who don't book in that you get hold of. Okay, and using that feedback, you can then adjust your campaigns, okay, or adjust your funnel. So if you get feedback of people talking about, let's say, price, they didn't realize how expensive it was, for example, well, then you know that we need to go back to the campaign and make sure that the pricing is clear. Or we need to go back to the landing page or the lead form or the type form and make sure the pricing is clear. So you can adjust your whole funnel by getting feedback on this end here. And this is why this is an ongoing optimization process, because you're always putting feedback into the funnel. Okay. But every time you get a patient who hasn't booked, it's actually a good thing because it gets feedback and it makes sure that you can adjust your whole system. So by the end of, let's say, 30 days or 30 to 90 days, usually, you just have a super, well-performing system that answers all questions. Okay. So let's just go back into here. So that's if they don't book. Okay. Now, obviously, if they book, that's great. Now, going back to the answer, if they don't answer, sorry. If they do answer in the follow-up process, which is where most people will answer, you'll probably get 50-60% answers in this process here, the follow-ups, after your first contact. If they do answer, did they book? Yes. Did they book? No. Then you can get feedback again. So it all ties together. Okay. So I hope that made sense, but that's sort of the top end, your team's job. Okay. Now let's go down here. So back to this point here. So let's say someone fills in the form and they then go through to your team CRM, your email, like I mentioned a moment ago. At the same time, you want that person to go through an automated follow-up / lead nurture process. Okay. Now this is super important. I'll explain why. So let's say someone comes through a lead form on Facebook. Okay. They filled in their information and put yourself in their shoes. You've seen a dentist. You like the offer. You've never heard of a dentist before, but you do like the offer and you're in the market for Invisalign, for example. You then fill in the form. If someone doesn't call you, let's say within the hour, okay, or even within the half an hour, a lot of the time you can forget about what you've done, or you can lose interest. It could even be you're at work, and if they don't call you within 5 minutes, you're busy. So this is why a lot of people don't answer the first time, is because teams are too slow to contact people. And it's not the team's fault, because they have other stuff going on. Not everyone can contact everyone straight away. So this is why you need an automated process at the same time, because you can actually create, and obviously I create this for clients, is you can create an automated follow-up process. So as soon as someone becomes a lead, they get an instant text message and an instant email straight away, like within 30 seconds. Now, by doing that, you're going to capture that person's information. You're going to make contact with that person straight away as they're looking at what you're offering. Okay. And that is so, so powerful, because it just, well, first of all, it warms up the lead even more. Okay. Makes them more interested. And if you do your follow-ups correctly, you can get a lot of responses on your follow-ups, on your automated follow-ups. So what you want to do is you want to create instant SMS/WhatsApp business manager follow-ups and instant email follow-ups. Okay. Because this will get, again, it will be a contact, it'll be a touch point. That's what it's called, a touch point. It will be an instant contact. You'll be contacting a person straight away, which means they're currently looking at it. So it's you need to contact them straight away. And it buys your team time to contact them. So if your team can't get round to contacting them until half an hour later, it doesn't really matter as much, because the person's already been contacted as well. Okay. Now, if you write out your follow-ups correctly, you can actually get conversations going. So what I would suggest is, rather than sending generic follow-up messages like a lot of dentists do, for example, if someone fills in a form, they'll just get a message saying, "Thank you for your inquiry, we'll be in touch soon," something like that. And lots of dentists do that. Instead of doing that, you want to frame your follow-ups as if someone's actually writing it, and you want to ask an open-ended question to actually get a response. Because the main thing, the best thing you can possibly do when it comes to leads and Facebook ads is get responses. If you can get responses, you can get conversations started, the more chance you have of getting all of those people booked in. So what you want to do is you want to have a text message or an email going out, or both, asking them a question. So let's say the person's name is James. Okay, it can come through. Let's say they've just filled in the Invisalign form. Straight away, they get a text message. "Hi, James. Notice you just filled in the form on social media. We'll be in contact very soon to book you in. Just a quick one. What's your current situation with your teeth? What are you looking to improve?" Or it can be another open-ended question. "Would you be looking for finance, or would you be looking to pay in full, or pay up front?" That's a very good question as well. A lot of people will come back and answer that one. So there's lots of open-ended questions you can ask. Do you care about what they say? Really? Not really. You don't care as to what their answer is as such. It's more just the fact that getting that answer, it means they're more committed and they've actually put more effort in. They think they're talking to someone. Okay. Now, if they then reply, there's actually a system that I've created, but you can do this as well, where you can see who's replying and who's not replying. So then you can actually prioritize who you contact first. So let's say you had a list of 50 leads. Let's say 50 of them replied to the automated response. Then you know to call them people first, because they're probably more warmer than the ones who haven't responded, because they've shown some level of commitment and there's already rapport built. So this is the power of this section. It buys your time. It buys your team time to contact them. It warms the people up, and it can get conversations started without you doing anything, which will help your booking rate. Now, if you've got all of this stuff in place, okay, this is what's necessary if you want a high-performing campaign. If you've got all of this in place, consistently running, and you're always taking feedback and adjusting feedback, you will see lots and lots and lots of not only leads, but lots of conversions in terms of leads to bookings. Okay, and that's what it's about, really. You need high consultations. But if you can do that, you could get 60-70% consultation booking rate, potentially even more if you really master this. But this is the best thing you can do. I hope it helped. I hope it was of interest. Any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to walk you through personally how you could do it for your practice. Okay, thank you. And again, any questions, let me know. Cheers.